Hello everyone, welcome back to Potted Plant Entertainment. My name is Chris, and in case you don't know, I review movies and I rank them on a scale of 0 to 100 in increments of 5. Today, we are going to be wrapping up the original Star Wars trilogy with Star Wars Episode 6, The Return of the Jedi. This is my personal favorite Star Wars movie. I love this movie. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. All three of the originals are, but especially this one. I know people often say that this is the worst of the original trilogy, but personally, this is my favorite one. I don't know what it is. It's just, I've always been most drawn to this one. In fact, I love this one so much that I own 3 versions of this movie because, George Lucas couldn't just leave these films alone. He had to go back and edit them and make them worse. So I've got the original theatrical version. I have the 2008 version, and I have the 2004 version. Because that's how much I love this movie. I love this movie so much. This movie means so much to me. All 3 of the originals do, but especially this one. So let's talk about it. So episode 6 was released in 1983, and it stars Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Billy D. Williams, Peter Mayhew, Anthony Daniels, Frank Oz, Ian McDiarmid, David Prowse, James Earl Jones, Alec Guinness, and Kenny Baker. It was directed by Richard Marquand and is produced by George Lucas. And this movie tells us about the end of the war between the rebels and the Empire. And this movie, the Empire is currently constructing a new Death Star that's even more powerful than the last one. And Lando Calrissian is going to lead a team to try and destroy this Death Star, while Han Solo, Chewbacca, and Princess Leia and the rebels lead a ground team on the force moon of Endor that is projecting a force field around the Death Star so they could take it out, so that Lando could take out the Death Star, and Luke Skywalker is going to confront the Emperor and Darth Vader. This movie is so much fun. So much fun. I have a blast, no pun intended, every single time I watch this. I love this movie. I love it so much. This movie, in fact, this movie actually, it used to hold the weekend box office record. I don't remember what movie broke the record, but it used to hold the weekend box office record. Let's get into my pros with it. I love the Jabba sequence. So in case you don't know, at the end of The Empire Strikes Back, Han Solo gets frozen in carbonite, and Boba Fett takes him away to Jabba the Hutt so he can get paid for capturing him, and Jabba the Hutt has him hanging on the wall in the carbonite. Our heroes go to rescue him at the beginning of this movie, and the costumes there look so fantastic. It's very exciting with the Rancor pit, and Jabba looks great. To this day, when I look at that giant slug, I still believe that that's a living, breathing thing. It's so realistic. Yoda is so realistic in this movie too. The puppeteers of Frank Oz, they did an amazing job with him, just like they did in The Empire Strikes Back. The costumes, like I said, the costumes in this are just great. All the aliens look great. Like they're so creative. Like Admiral Akbar, he's like this fish guy. He's such a great costume, and he looks so real. And this was also in the movie that introduced us to different colored lightsabers other than red and blue. Before this movie, everybody just knew that the bad guys had red lightsabers and the good guys had blue ones. Well, when this movie came out, we saw that Luke had constructed a new lightsaber that is green. And when people saw that, they were like, "What? A green lightsaber?" Nobody knew that could happen. So that was a really big surprise. And they introduced it in the best way possible too. The special effects in this are amazing too. Now, one of the issues that people often have with this film is that the special effects aren't as good as they are in the first 2. Now, I just rewatched this movie today. I watched the original theatrical version. And what I noticed is that the special effects in that one look better than they do in the special edition versions of this. Is that just me, or did I imagine that? Because I swear, when I watched it, I couldn't tell that anything was fake in the theatrical version. But when I watch other versions, things look fake. So let me know what you think in the comments. Captain Rex is actually in this movie. If you ever watched the Star Wars The Clone Wars TV show or the movie, you know the clone trooper Captain Rex, who, as we find out in Season 7, he gets promoted to Commander. He is in this movie. He's the old guy with the white beard who puts on the scout trooper suit to disguise himself and stand guard at the in the building with the shield generator. Look out for him next time you watch this movie. He's in the movie for real. The lightsaber fight between Luke and Darth Vader is fantastic. The Emperor looks really cool and he's really scary. I love the Emperor's really awesome. The cinematography is great. The music is great. Now, let's discuss another flaw that people often have with this movie. People often criticize this movie over the Ewoks. Now, in case you don't know, the Ewoks are the little guys. They're like these little guys that are real cute and cuddly, and they live in the forest on Endor. And they assist the rebels in the big battle at the end of the film. And people say there's no way these little guys could take on stormtroopers. I highly disagree. There's a couple of reasons for it. So one, there were rebel troops there that are helping them fight, and Han Solo, Chewbacca, and Leia, so it's not like they were alone. Number two, these guys know the woods. They know their environment. The stormtroopers don't, and so they use the environment to their advantage. When you watch the movie, they pop out of nowhere, and they catch the stormtroopers off guard. And they lay out these booby traps for them, and so they really use their environment to their advantage. And on top of that, it's not even like they always succeed. There's a lot of moments during this battle where you see the Ewoks die or their traps fail. So, yeah, I totally believe that the Ewoks could take on the Stormtroopers. Absolutely. I don't have an issue with the Ewoks in this movie at all. At all. There's also, I don't want to spoil anything too big in this movie, but there is another issue that people commonly have an issue with this film about that I want to defend, but I'm going to defend it after I give my grade because it is a big spoiler. But before I do so, I just want to say I love this movie. It means so much to me. This whole original trilogy means so much to me. You know, we all have problems in our lives, and sometimes it's just nice to escape to that galaxy far, far away and let our troubles go. And this movie and all three of these movies really transformed the lives of so many people, including my own. They changed the world, and I will always be thankful to George Lucas for it. Always. Star Wars is amazing. It's amazing. This movie is amazing, and I'm going to give Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, a 100. All three of the originals, to me, deserve a 100. They're great beyond words. They're truly incredible masterpieces of filmmaking. Okay, so here comes the spoiler. If you haven't seen this movie and you don't want to spoil it for you, I know I talked a little bit like Han Solo getting free from the carbonite and the green lightsaber, but I didn't talk about any major spoilers. But here comes the major spoiler. You have been warned. So during the Jabba sequence, Boba Fett takes on Luke Skywalker. And then Luke Skywalker jumps over and fights some other bad guys while Boba Fett is knocked down. And then, Han Solo is blind because of the carbonite. And Chewbacca tries to warn him that he's standing right behind him. And he's holding this big staff. And he goes, "Argh!" And he's like, Boba Fett, where? And he turns around and he hits his jetpack. And he sends him flying up. And he lands in the Rancor pit's mouth. And he dies. Or actually, I've heard in Legends that he somehow escaped. But anyways, a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people thought that was a really lame way for that character to go out. The problem with that is that they had no idea how popular that character would later become. I mean, he was such a small role in these movies. Like, he was only in episode 4 for, I think a literal second. He had a small role in episode 5, and he had a small role in this one too. I mean, they couldn't have possibly predicted that people would fall in love with this character so much. And so I feel like it's really unfair to criticize him for Boba Fett's death when they had no clue this little insignificant character would become so popular. So I really don't feel like it's right to criticize him for that. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Potty Planet Entertainment for more. Hit the like button. Leave movie suggestions down in the comments down below. Follow me on Instagram at Potty Planet Entertainment for channel updates, and much love.